الحياة هذا المثل الأعلى، الأخت الكبيرة أو الأخ الكبير دائما لأي امرأة ممكن إنها العالم.
ذكريات طفولة وتربية أولادي بهذا البيت كانت
زهير
الأمان والاستقرار.
فاطمة سيفتي عبد الله
الأمان والمحبة.
سامة خيري
روان كرج نارا Many events since it built in 1936 up till now. Some of them are historical events, not only raising up children, but also hosting many political and social meetings, the foundation of Women Action Committee, the first grassroots organization in Palestine, and hosting the Center for Women's Studies for some time, and others. This was not possible without a family that full of love, support, giving, and solidarity. All our family members, as well as our friends who are participating in this meeting, are united by common principles. First and foremost, commitment, sincerity at work, learning from experiences. And we believe that volunteer work is essential for social change. In addition, we respect the values of freedom, social justice, equality, a freedom of choice, acceptance of the other, and tolerance. All of this had its impact on us in playing political and social roles. And without love and support, I can't do what I did in my life. For example, I am a person who had a national and social political role, and I am co-founder of the Union of Women's Action Committee in 1978, and the Center of Women's Studies, and the Women's Center for Legal Aid and Counselling, the Women Affairs Technical Committee, and ASALA Society, and I shared their boards for several years. Also, I became Minister of Women Affairs, and I was a director of a Palestinian Women Research and Documentation Center supported by UNESCO and in 2011, I was elected as a Secretary General of FIDA party. So all this cannot be done without the powerful of life, the powerful and support of everybody, the friends and everybody that is coming to this home. In Palestine, there are many homes of humanity, without which our people would not have stood up and raised injustice and oppression of the Israeli occupation against our people. It is a pleasure for me to meet together to share experiences on the role of the homes of humanity and how this home helps and supports you in developing ideas to create activities to build a free society of social justice. I'm really delighted to introduce some of my colleagues here who believe in working together within the values and principles that we are raised with to build our freedom and to end occupation and to have a social society that it is a justice society and with equality. And I am pleased here that also young generation are here, and I'm really willing that they are carrying in the future this militant legacy to keep the banner of freedom up built. So I'm pleased to give the floor now to Sama, and after that it will be Amne, then Fatme, and then Ratibe, and at the end the family, Abdullah and Azza will be speaking. Later on, after that, we will have in Arabic that everybody who is here and want to speak about the home, they are also welcome to do that. So please, Sama, can you come?
I'm Sama Weda, a friend of Zahira Kamal, close friend actually. I feel that Zahira is one of the most important persons in my life. Talking about home is a very sensitive issue actually, because I myself lost my father when I was a child, 11 years old. And unfortunately, losing my father at that time meant that I lost my house. Since we used to live in Jordan and we came from Jordan to West Bank without bringing anything of our furniture, and we lost the income because my father was the income generation at the family, so we couldn't open a house, and we lived with my grandmother. So the issue of a home at that time meant a lot to me. What does it mean to have a home? How come, how do you feel when you have a home or when you live with another people, with another family, although they are my uncles, my aunts, my grandmother, but I couldn't feel at that time that it was my home. When I was in my secondary school, I joined a political fraction actually in Palestine, and I started to feel that I have something very important to fight for, which is my country, Palestine. So I was very active at that time and got to know Zahira Kamal, who was a leader in that front, and felt that actually the house of Zahira Kamal is my house. So every time I used to come to this house, I felt that I have a family here. I have the feeling that this is my house. I went to the Jordanian University. Unfortunately, I was dismissed from the university for political reasons, and I had to come back to Jerusalem to find that even the house where we used to live, I lost it again. And that's why I had to marry. The one who I married, I didn't have a nice life with him. I didn't feel that I was safe in that house. And during this period, I had a very good relationship with Zahira Kamal, where I was with her when we established the Women Action Committee. I was with her when we established the Women Studies Center. I was very active with her, and my house, her house actually was like my house. I used to come here to meet with Zahira, to have meetings here, and my children always used to come with me. Actually, the mother of Zahira, Abdullah, I still remember her. She used to be very kind to us. And I still remember my son, Muhammad, whenever he would come here to this house, he would run to Abdullah and ask her, Tata Abdullah, do you have rice? Because he used to like her food, and she used to feed him always. And she used always to shout at me and say, you didn't cook for your child. Okay, when you don't cook, remember that you have a house here and bring your children to come here. So this was my second house. This was a house where I felt that, although I used to work with Zahira, but I felt that all the members of this house were like my brothers, my sisters, Randa, Rana, Gadir. I used to love them all. I used to feel that this is the family, this is the house of the family that I dreamt of all my life, and I still do. Thank you. إذا بدكم على هاوس هاي هاوس. اوكي إذا بدك نميزها. Okay, the center that we established together, me, Zahira, and other women activists, Palestinian women activists, which is the Women Studies Center. Actually, we established the center because we thought that working for women issues should start from the basis, knowing what exactly is the situation of women. So we felt that to have research about the situation of Palestinian women is very important issue, and we have to bring the reality of Palestinian women according to scientific studies. So we started. The center actually was established in 1989. At that time, it was the time.
الصوت فيه بالصدى.
Women, we had also to work with women who sacrifice from the occupation. We have a program called Women, Loss and Occupation, in which we are helping the women who were subjected to a loss during or from the occupation, how to deal with such a loss. We are also working on income generation projects where women could feel that they can have an income and build their families. We do have a lot of programs, and we have a good relation with other international and Arab women organizations. As a center, actually, we were able to coordinate for the first Arab Women Network, Aisha, that was established in beginning of the 90s, and it's a network that has membership from women organizations from 8 Arab different countries, and the center was for 8 years elected to be the coordinator of this center. So that's why we are active on the Arab region as well. We still believe that we have an important role because Palestinian women, as well as other Arab women, do have a lot of challenges that they have to face. Now we are challenging the issue of violence against women, and we are very active in this area.
Thank you, Sama, for all this. Thank you, Sama. And now, okay. Thank you, Sama. Now we are giving the floor to Amne and then Fatma. Okay, Amne. Amne is going to speak in Arabic. Is that okay?
That's wonderful. Do you think, Zahira, could you sit next to her and just translate, because Ratibe is not right there, so you could translate directly for Amne.
Okay. You know, instead of me, this is no. She will be speaking, and I think Asa can do the translation. Ahmad will help us in translation.
يا أحمد يا روان الدنيا سريعين.
ترجمت أنا بحكي.
بنحكي ترجم.
بس أنت بتترجم. أوكي.
أرفع جنبها أرفع
جنبي عشان في شيء برضه صلح.
أوكي.
أوكي.
مرحبا الجميع. أنا آمنة ديب، مواليد عام 58.
Hello everyone, my name is Amne Deeb, born in 58.
هجرت من قريتي بيت نوبة عام 67 وأنا طفلة.
I had to flee my village in 67 when I was a kid.
فقدت منزلي وعائلتي حيث هاجر معظم أفراد عائلتي إلى الأردن.
I lost my house and my family when I had to flee to Jordan.
بحثت ووالدتي عن بيت يأوينا وأخواتي فوجدنا بيت في مخيم قلنديا.
Me and my family tried to find a house to live in, and eventually we ended up living in Kalandia refugee camp.
وهنا شكل الاحتلال والتهجير تحدي بالنسبة لنا.
And it was a challenge to face the occupation and this kind of change in our lives.
أكملت دراستي والتحقت بدار المعلمات في الطيرة عام 76.
I continued my education and I joined an organization called Dar al-Muallimat for teachers.
كمعلمة رياضيات. وهناك التقيت بزهيرة المعلمة الشابة التي كانت تدرسنا الفيزياء.
As a math teacher, I met Mrs. Zahira there, and she was a physics teacher at that time.
في ذلك الوقت لم تكن تعلمنا فقط التدريس بل كانت تهتم بأمور الطالبات وتوجيههن وتشجيعهن وعلى العمل التطوعي والتنمية.
She wasn't just a teacher, she was more than that. She taught us a lot more beyond physics, and we learned from her a lifestyle and much more important things than just a subject.
كانت تزرع فينا دور المعلمة ليس في توصيل المعلومة فقط بل ببناء الإنسان وتربية الأجيال على قيم التعاون والإنسانية ومساعدة الغير من أجل مستقبل أفضل لنا ولأبنائنا.
She didn't just deliver the material, she worked on building human beings and prepare us for a better future.
شكلنا في معهد المعلمات مجلس للطلبة واستطعنا أن نخلق مجموعات تعمل في العمل التطوعي من الشباب.
We established a youth organization that works towards education and development.
بعد تخرجي في عام 78 استمرت علاقتي مع زهيرة حيث التقيتها في بيتها في وادي الجوز.
After my graduation, my relationship with Zahira continued until 78, where I met her at her house, which we are sitting in at the moment in Wadi Joz in Jerusalem.
وكنا نتبادل الأفكار والتخطيط للنهوض بوضع المرأة حيث عملنا من خلال لجان عمل النساء على فتح صفوف لمحو الأمية والتعاونات الإنتاجية من القش والتطريز.
We exchange ideas about how to improve the women's life in the area in Jerusalem, and we started working on developing different projects such as the classes for sewing and other developments.
وكانت تقوم من خلال علاقاتها بترتيب سوق لهذه المنتجات وبيعها لمساعدة النساء في تحسين أوضاعهن الاقتصادية.
At that time, Zahira used her network to organize markets to sell those products that were done by those women, and that helped them to improve their economical situation.
من خلال لقاءاتنا المتكررة في هذا البيت الدافئ الذي كانت غالبية أفراده من النساء المتعلمات واللواتي شكلنا نموذجا محتذى كمقدسيات من خلال الدفء التي كانت تضفيه والدتها رحمها الله في الترحيب بنا وتقديم الطعام المقدسي اللذيذ أحيانا المجبول بطعم المحبة التي تحيط بها بهذا المنزل. كنت أشعر أن زهيرة تحظى بتقدير وحب شديدين من أفراد أسرتها مما يتيح لها استضافتنا في منزلها برحابة الصدر رغم ضيق المساحة، وكنت أشعر بدفء المشاعر والمحبة واعتبرت أنني قد وجدت عائلة بديلة أعمل معها وأتشارك العطاء المتجدد.
Although the house was small, but it was full of well-educated women and that surrounded us, and at that time that gave us a lot of energy, a lot of motivation, and the love that Zahira had from her family and relatives gave us even greater energy to proceed and prepare for a better future for our women in Jerusalem.
ونحن كنساء عاملات لم أيضا فكرنا معا في فتح دور للحضانة وللأطفال لأبنائنا وأبناء النساء العاملات وكانت الحضانات ولاد الأطفال حضانات متميزة تربويا اجتماعيا، وكانت توفر بيئة تربوية لأطفالنا، مما ساهم في إعطاء الأمن إلنا ولأطفالنا حتى أن نقدر نستمر في العمل الاجتماعي.
As a working woman, we had to adapt, and we came across an idea of establishing kindergartens for our kids and all the working women kids, and those kindergartens were on a great level, and they were very, very well established.
طبعا من خلال دوري كمعلمة في المدرسة أيضا كنت أنقل للطالبات تجربتي وتجربة زهيرة، وكنت أتكلم عنها كإنسانة قيادية تمثل المرأة الفلسطينية وملهمة. يعني كل يوم 8 آذار كنت أتكلم أمام الطالبات وأذكر دورها ومساهمتها في سن قوانين والتشريعات، وكونها أول وزيرة للمرأة في السلطة الفلسطينية، وكان ذلك ملهما لطالباتي أيضا.
As a teacher, I used to take the opportunity to talk about Zahira and her achievements, and how she joined the Palestinian Authority, and how she was one of the people, a decision maker, making laws and taking such high-profile decisions. I used to take the opportunity to introduce that to the girls and raise their awareness about this great woman.
وكذلك أنا بالنسبة كأم ومربية نقلت هذه الشخصية لبناتي وجعلتها نموذج يمكن أنهم يحتذوا بها ويكونوا معطاءات في مجتمعهم.
And as a mother, I also did that. And as a mother of six girls, I took the same responsibility in my house, and I tried to raise my kids on the same principles that Zahira grew on, and to hopefully take her as a role model in the future.
وأنا اليوم تقاعدت من عملي كمعلمة، وطبعا عملت على استمرار في مسيرتي لتنمية المجتمع، وعينت بيت والدتي ليكون مركز غراس تعليمي للتمكين والتنمية البشرية في مخيم قلنديا، يكون منارة جديدة تنطلق لخدمة المجتمع والنساء والطلبة في ظل صعوبات التعليم خلال جائحة كورونا، ليشكل بالنسبة لي انطلاقة جديدة لأبنائي نحو خدمة الإنسانية والمجتمع، كما شكل بيت رفيقتي زهيرة من قبل موطنا لانطلاقنا.
And now, after my retirement, I elected my house in a Kalandia refugee camp to be used for development projects that help kids with difficulties, with learning difficulties, to use this place and help them in the tough period of COVID-19.
وجميعنا ننطلق من بيوتنا الدافئة التي تعمل من أجل تربية أبنائنا نحو معاني العطاء والتنمية والإنسانية والمساواة وجميع القيم الإنسانية ليحيا بها الإنسان لتشكل حياة أفضل لمجموعة البشرية.
And every day we're working here towards a better future for our kids, our girls, everyone around us, to have a better future and stronger environment.
Okay, thank you, Amna. Thank you, Amna, for this, for your what you speak about yourself, the way that you are raising your children, and also the importance of having friends and family that is a supportive family, and to have the role model in your home with your daughters and in the society at Kalandia camp. Thank you. Now, Fatma, please come in.
Okay. My name is Fatma Muakkad. My name is Fatma Muakkad. Zahira, my inspiring aunt and friend. I would like to start by talking about this house. This house connects me with a story of love, patience, support, persistence, and challenge. I carried this with me unconsciously, and it was reflected on my performance. With our family sessions that I can never forget, many stories which were told were filled with warmth, wisdom, safety, and persistence to learn. This in turn has played a significant role in the formation of myself and leadership identity. This house is like any ordinary house in Jerusalem. Its walls were not deaf. On the contrary, they were full of life, which responds with openness to the world, with steadiness and determination. This echo was evident in my work as feminist, activist, lawyer, and researcher. My career began at WUCLAC by studying all cases with a holistic socioeconomic and psychological perspective, which enabled me to be extraordinary in winning specific cases and crystallizing orientations, strategies, and proposals for law projects such as the Maintenance Fund Law and the protection of families from violence. This insight has characterized me, in which later gave the opportunity of being the chairman of board WUCLAC. Shortly after I moved to take over the management of the Palestinian Maintenance Fund, in which my golden rule was to change the conditions of the beneficiary groups by asking a question: why are we doing what are we doing? Which helped me achieve a success story and move from a fund that works with manual and then electronic procedures, and then expand our partnerships and increase the resources of the fund by amending in law to ensure its sustainability and increase its base of those entitled to expense to reach a pioneering institution across the Arab nation. These qualities, feelings, and emotions were the device behind my every success and achievements. I owe this performance to my story and, most importantly, to my family.
Thank you, Fatma. And really, I remember you when you are a kid and all the time coming and talking about different issues, and sometimes we share the stories. And when you were working at the Women's Center for Legal Aid and Counseling, and we discuss the researches that it is about personality law, it was, the challenges at that time took place, and how you develop yourself and become now as a director for, general director for the custody fund. So thank you. Now Ratibe from Zoom will be speaking, and after that Abdullah. Ratibe, we are not hearing you. You are mute, so open the mute.
من عندهم من عند دراما.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi. I'm not very good in writing and preparing words, so I will share a little words from my heart. I'm not sure if I'm the second or the third generation in this circle or chain, but I raised in this atmosphere, the atmosphere that is full of faith and equality, good role models, very strong women, and a very strong will to do a lot of things. It's not my choice to be a political or a social activist. It's something that is built in my personality, in my life since I was a kid. Maybe my mother, Amne, she mentioned that Zahira teach her that the teacher role is not just to deliver the curriculum. It's more than that. It's the real role of building or building human beings. So maybe she really built these human beings as we are her daughters, to be feminist, to be activist, and to be tools of changing this society and this community for the better, and for the better future we dreamed on it. So I think that this atmosphere make every dream as an achievable goal. And that's why today I am a political bureau member in FIDA party and a head of board of director in one of the biggest youth organization in Palestine, Sharik Youth Forum, as well as I'm active in many others organization here in Palestine. Yes, it wasn't a very pleasant story, the beginning of what I recognized my relation with Zahira, because in my childhood, I refused to be like Zahira, and my mother kept saying that you will be in some period like Zahira, and I refused that because I want to be myself. But the first time I met Zahira in my well, it was in 2008, and it was in a course for rebuilding the knowledge about feminists in Palestine as a Palestinian content. So I saw her in a different way, not just the person that everyone is pushing me to be like her. It's not just a role model that inspired a lot of women, and it must be like an inspiring model or person for me. I saw her a scientific and a feminist that want to be the change in the society, and she want to bring a new knowledge not just copying a knowledge from all around the world, but what is feminist and what is nationality, Palestinian nationality, Palestinian woman nationality, and all of these things inspired me in real. And then I met her again in FIDA when I decided to join the FIDA party in 2011, and she was the general secretary of FIDA. And she helps me a lot to recognize what I can do. And she always says, you can do what you believe that you can do it. No one can give you a hand to do something that you didn't believe that you are very prepared, well prepared, and very sure that you can do it. So I walk in these steps, and inshallah, I will be the next General Secretary for FIDA by her support and by the support of all those women that inspired me from my childhood till now. I'm not so old, so I haven't a lot to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ratibe. I'm looking forward to see you really becoming a general secretary, or to and also to run for the election for the Legislative Council, hopefully as representing young generation. So this is also what I'm saying, that I'm supporting that. And now Abdullah, he's my brother, and will be speaking also on behalf of our family, the brothers and sisters. So please come in.
اوكي بدك تطلعهم بس لما تخلص منهم طلعنا.
انت قولي لي امتى ابلش. Good afternoon or good evening. I am Abdullah, number 4 of my family. I finished my high school in 1970 after my first arrest for 7 months. In 1982, I got my bachelor degree in mathematics from Birzeit University. And in 1989, I got my master's degree from the United States. In 2013, I got my PhD also in mathematics from the Hebrew University. Actually, I spent 3 periods in prison. The first one in 1969. It was for 7 months. The second was in 1976 for 2.5 years, and in 1991 for 2 weeks. So what does this house represent to me and to my brother and sisters and our friends, in which Zahira have had a great and main role in it. In this house, our personality was shaped. All human feelings, such as love, tenderness, and affections that we have received from our parents, has become an integral part of our personality. In this house, we learned how to collaborate, support each other, We learn also to converse with each other. So we learn all to agree to disagree. And this was one of the main things that one of the description of this house. We learn also the value of parents and their role. To get out of the abstract description, I would like to describe some of the scenes that we lived in this house and the extent of their impact. I remember when I was very young, my beloved sister Zahira, whom by the way is 6 years older than me, used to come back from school full of energy and tell us everything that happened at school. I recall when she used to tell us about the demonstration she participated in it and her activism. She always astonished us, and we always knew that one day she would become a strong, independent leader. She was the one who taught me how noble our Palestinian cause is and how important social activism is. In fact, Zahira was a great supporter for me, my brother and sisters. Being living under occupation in uncalm situation, without her support, I doubted that we achieved what we have had now. My father had very high hopes for her, and he was determined to give Zahira the best education she deserved. To get this attitude in a male-dominating society about 6 decades ago was not easy. After the occupation in 1967, when I was very young, this is a second story, about 16 years old, this situation pushed us to political activism in order to resist the occupation. One day, my mother found some political leaflets among my things at home. So she informed my father to forbid me from this work because she believed that it would put me at risk of arrest or otherwise by the occupation authority. My father talked to me at night after all went to sleep and opened this matter with me. I started to deny that, so my father interrupted me and said, I don't want you to deny for me. I want to tell you that being active against the occupation would lead to you would lead to your arrest, and they would put you under interrogation, and you may confess on your colleague. Son, I don't want the day to come when your fellow activists' parents would come and tell me that Abdullah confessed and led to our son's arrest. Despite all, I continued with my political activism, and I got arrested. During interrogation, everything that my father told me flashed behind my eyes. This piece of advice that my father gave me became my source of power and my strength to stand against this brutal occupation. So this picture give us how the values and ethics that this family grew up in. The second scene is when my mother came to visit me in prison after about a month at Muscovia prison, and I saw the amount of sadness in her eyes. At that moment, I understand what a great and resilient mother I have. From these scenes, our personality was formed and shaped the idea of our homeland. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Abdullah. And I think, you know, you are speaking about the family, the home, the father, the mother, and myself. And I feel that this is what you are speaking about. It is really what I all the time willing to do to my brothers and sisters, and to give all that power. Now it is the second generation. Azza will be speaking about Kamal's family home of humanity and how she was affected by that. Okay, Azza.
So hello from Jerusalem. Special greetings to my cousins Haneen and Saria, who are joining us from Canada and the United Arab Emirates. Family is the first entity that we as human beings feel we belong to. Then comes other things as the neighborhood, the school, the circle of friends, and social groups. However, in my opinion, as things around us keep changing, family remains the only constant. And that's why a healthy family is vital in building responsible, strong, and enabling communities. By healthy family, I mean the set of values and principles that guides the family and contributes to the well-being of its individuals and eventually the community. Today, it's my pleasure to talk about my family, my big family, grandma's home, and my special relationship with Aunt Zahira, and the set of values that made our family so special, unique, and united. Beit Teta, or grandma's home, is the place where we all feel loved, happy, and supported. There's something very special about my grandmother's home that makes it feels never enough. I mean that regardless of the number of hours that we spend here, we always feel that it's still too early to leave. Things I always remember about this place are the library that always included children's books, the big gatherings, the long discussions about old topics and current issues, the good food, the sleepovers, and us playing outside, and a lot of other precious memories that my cousins will share with you. But I would like to share two stories with Aunt Zahira that influenced me as a child and shaped my personality as I grew up. Sometimes people do things because they think that they have to. But to Aunt Zahira, it's a real inspiration, driven by her passion to make a difference not only on the country level, but also to make a difference in the lives of the people that she meets once in her life. I remember that she once got us wooden toys made by people with disabilities, when she could have gotten us any toy or puzzle. But Aunt Zahira made sure to bring us something that would influence us and make us feel equal and capable. Not only that, she also took me to Al-Nahda Women's Association to meet the creators of those toys and see the energy and passion that they have. Years and years later, I found myself volunteering, and part of a community group who organizes annual marathon to advocate for special cause. And the first cause was supporting children with disabilities. And Zahira led by example. She never sat with us and lectured us about gender equality or human rights. She had a vision and a set of goals and worked hard toward achieving those goals. She became the first Minister of Women's Affairs, and despite all the challenges that she faced, she believed in herself. I was always close to my aunt. While she was leading the Women's Center for Research and Documentation that she co-founded, I volunteered there to see her in action and learn from her experience. I became part of her team for about 2 months. While I was there, I became curious and eager to know about the challenges that Palestinian women managers face as they reach decision-making positions. Couple of years later, this topic became my research topic as I was graduating from university. And Zahira influenced us in an indirect way. She would always be the first one that we would go to share our happy moments, good news, or seek her opinion whenever we are in doubt. And at the end of the day, she is a very successful Palestinian woman that is a role model to many people. But to me, she will simply be Khalto Zahira, that the one that uses nothing but love to communicate, and the one that I look up to on a daily basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Azzas. Thank you a lot. You know, sometimes we do something and we didn't think about what it is in impact on the other. And really, I'm happy to hear that, because sometimes when you do to see that impact and how it infected others, it is very important. Thank you, everybody.